Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 105.
On Now You Know.
So Zach, you missed our 2-year anniversary.
I know. Thank you for letting me go on a little vacation.
Yeah.
I went on a road trip with my dad. It was a lot of fun. And he got a lot of driving time on Sparky, and I think we got another convert.
Awesome.
All right, so let's start off with some Model 3 news, Jesse. Everyone wants to know how the production is going, and there was a little dip in production last week as Labor Day weekend happened. 3,100 cars were supposedly built, and so far in the third quarter, it looks like Tesla has produced 37,800 Model 3s. They're on guidance for 50 to 55,000 during Q3, so we've still got a few weeks left in the month.
But it looks possible.
It looks possible, and in Elon's letter that just came out, remember last week, he said, we're about to have the most amazing quarter in our history, building and delivering more than twice as many cars as we did last quarter. So they would need to produce 106,000 cars, that would be 3, S, and X, if they're going to meet that goal, and they're trending right now at 80,000 cars, so they're going to have to put a little push on, but I think they could do it.
Does it matter?
No, because let's look at the big picture here. They're making thousands of cars that people love.
Right.
They're ramping lined up
and
to buy.
they're ramping up.
Exactly.
It's not like they're slowing down. They're ramping up.
Exactly. What's to say here about the AP version 9 leak?
So Jason Hughes, he's a hacker. And so
But a good hacker.
Yeah, he got access to the alpha development build of Tesla's Autopilot version 9. So, I mean, this is their version 9 software in general.
Right.
So there's a new design at the bottom of, so they're going much more towards the Model 3 look than the Model S look that we've seen for quite a while now. So everything will be kind of in its own, the nav will be its main window. So it's up most of the time.
Right.
Just like on the Model 3.
And there'll be windows that kind of pop up inside that window, giving you options, kind of like the Model 3.
Which is really smart. On Sparky right now, if you want to listen to music or view the music, you have to take up half the screen with it.
Which you may not want.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Whereas the Model 3, you can choose how much of the screen you want to take up.
It's like a tiny bit, a little bit more, or a lot. So really smart.
Now, the new updates include new UI and, listen to this, I love this part, waypoints. Now, I know for a lot of you are like, waypoints, that sounds really boring.
Right. If you're a Tesla owner, you're probably jumping up and down because if you're going on a long road trip, you might say, we ran into this on our cross-country road trip a couple times where we're like, we want to go see the largest ball of yarn in the United States, which we did. It was fun. But, you know, it's between two superchargers, but it's a little bit out of the way.
Right.
So we're like, how much do we need to charge? Hard to tell, especially when you're on the road. Putting in that waypoint will allow you to be like, charge up a little bit more so you can go see the largest ball of sisal twine in the world.
Now, the next thing that you're going to find in version 9 is Drive on Nav. What is Drive on Nav, Jesse?
So this suggests lane changes with the Autopilot stock and will take ramps and off-ramps, which is super cool. So so you're driving along, you need to get into the right lane to take an exit or an off-ramp. It will come up on the screen, say, do you want to get into the right lane? And then with the Autopilot stock, you say yes, and then it will lane change for you. And then it will take the on-ramp, the off-ramp, and you can continue on your way. So this basically, a lot of times you're driving along, you need to be, you know, you're going one way, you need to be getting onto this interchange, and you forget, and all of a sudden you're 0.2 miles from where you need to do it, and you're in the left lane, you're going, oh crap, I need to get over 3-4 lanes of traffic just so I can take this turn. This will hopefully alert you ahead of time to get into the proper lane.
It's one of the most stressful parts of driving in new places, usually.
Right.
And some people have said, well, I want to do it for me. Well, the good news is they can turn that on later.
Right. If it is able to ask you whether you're ready for a lane change, that means that they have a little part of the code that says ask the driver if they want to do the lane change. They can take that part out later.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, it's more autonomous.
Exactly.
This is just a safety check. This is so they can make sure that this works.
Other cool things in there, Jesse. Atari games.
How fun is that? What other car has games?
You know, it's going to make it so that you want to pick up your kids now. Because normally you're like, I don't want to go pick up my kids. Now you're like, you know what? While I'm waiting, while I'm waiting in the parking lot, in the line, I can play an Atari game.
I mean, I know that this is a very small feature. No one's going to buy the car because of it. But like Elon says, he wants to build cars and products that people love.
Yeah. The other thing it's going to do is introduce calendar, energy, and web browser to the Model 3.
All things
awesome.
that, were on the Model S and we're waiting for on the Model 3.
Now, someone asked Elon, they said, can you also add a feature to the version 9 to turn off screens in the car while driving, only showing speed? Tap to turn back on. And Elon said,
we'll add a fade mode with only essential info.
And then he said on September 5th, he tweeted out, I'm running AP9 in my car, but it's not right yet. Hopefully, we'll release to advanced early access users in a week or two, then more broadly towards the end of the month.
And I just want to point out, Tesla is basically the only car company that has over-the-air updates, and they're fantastic. This is the kind of stuff, when you get into I want to say like a 2011, 2013, 15 car, and it has UI, and it was outdated the moment they released it. Mm-hmm. But it's the same UI today. Mm-hmm. It's the same outdated looking, logos and stuff. Teslas have been constantly getting these over-the-air updates.
Yep.
So every time you get in the car, it's like if you got into, a 2012 Toyota Corolla, and all the knobs and buttons were all updated and fancy looking and up with the latest trends.
Two other things I want to point out. Elon said it's not right yet.
Mm-hmm.
A CEO telling you that the product's not ready for you yet, and that he is the one who's testing it. When I grew up with CEOs, they didn't even know what the heck their company did most of the time. Mm-hmm. And here's a CEO who's actually driving the software.
Yeah.
All right, so what's this, Jesse?
So Mercedes just unveiled the EQC in Stockholm last week. They said it is the Mercedes of electric vehicles.
Oh, so who makes it?
Mercedes.
Oh,
so
that's a joke.
That's why it's the Mercedes of
Gotcha.
That was CEO Dieter Zitsch, and he said that Daimler is all in with electric with the launch of the EQC.
That's great. So this is the beginning of all their cars being electric.
Well, no.
He said they're all in with electric.
Well, okay, the EQC is going to come out in 2020.
I'm very confused.
Yeah. So they unveiled a car that's going to come out in 2020.
Oh.
So let's talk about the stats.
All right.
It's going to have an 80 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Okay.
It's going to have two motors, 300 kilowatts, about 408 horsepower, top speed of 111 miles an hour, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, 5 different regen braking modes. It'll have a water-cooled charger at 7.4 kilowatts with max charge of 110 kilowatts.
Okay, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Every stat you just mentioned was worse than the existing Model X. Mm-hmm. So is this going to be a way cheaper car?
We don't have price info. They said that it will be priced in the Model X price range.
Okay, so like $90,000 or so.
Probably.
And what's the range?
So they said that the range is going to be 230 to 250 miles, and that's with the kind of like the standard that doesn't give you the real range. Okay. So it's probably going to be a little bit lower.
But I don't understand. How is this going to be a Tesla killer if all the stats you just mentioned, like it doesn't go as fast, it doesn't, I mean, nothing is as good as the Model X.
Right. It doesn't even have a frunk.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was a...
And I mean, I want to point out, I want you to look at the concepts for this car, right? Look at the concept. It was this neat, cool-ish looking, weird grill. They put the normal grill on it now, so it just looks like any other Mercedes. I don't know.
And it's not going to come out till 2020 in the US. Like, that's a long time from now.
That is a long time. I don't want to crap on the car. Obviously, it's great that there will be more options for people.
I wouldn't crap on the car at all if they came out and said, we're doing our best. We didn't, we're not saying it's a Tesla killer, but we're doing our best. I'd be like, great, you're doing a great job, guys. Keep working on it. I just don't like it when car companies are like, we've got a Tesla killer.
It's like, in no way is this a Tesla killer.
No.
Yeah.
Because we're not even mentioning autonomous driving.
Right. I mean, I'm glad that people will have other options. I don't think that this is a stronger option because it doesn't come with supercharging. Right. Maybe 2020, there's going to be an Ionity network across the country. Remains to be seen. Right now, I can drive across the country in a Tesla. Can't do it with practically any other EV.
All right, so what is this little cute thing blinking at me, Jesse?
So Jaguar is testing a driverless car that basically makes eye contact with you. So a lot of, today when we're looking at autonomous cars, Chevy Cruise, Uber, it's just a car, right? there's no driver. So if you're a pedestrian or something and
you
you're
don't know
looking
what's
at the
going
car,
on.
you don't know what the car is going to be doing. Usually you have a driver, the driver can like go ahead or, like not pay any attention to you and like, okay, he's probably going to go.
Good point.
With this, basically, they're testing this idea of the car looks at you to make sure that
That's really
that
interesting.
it's like it'll like look at you and then you cross the thing and it's constantly looking at you to make sure that that it sees you without being overt, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Bennett, who's the research manager at Jaguar Land Rover's Future Mobility Drive division, said it's second nature to glance at the driver of the approaching vehicle before stepping into the road. Understanding how this translates in tomorrow's more automated world is important.
Now, do I think that putting giant eyeballs on a car is going to be like, do you think that you're going to buy a Jaguar with eyeballs on it? No, I don't think that Jaguar is going to sell a car to people that'll have eyeballs on it. Maybe in the future when they have their fully autonomous car that they're not selling to a person, but they're selling to a ride-sharing service like Uber or Lyft or whatever. And we've seen...
This might be a trend. I mean, cute eyeball cars might be the next big thing.
It could be. It could be like Cars the movie with the eyeballs.
I just love that they're testing it. And let's remember the Jaguar is owned by Tata, which is an Indian company.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. What's this?
So this is the Volvo 360C. It's an autonomous concept car. The idea is to eliminate short-haul flights up to 300 kilometers.
Wait, you just said flights.
Right.
Oh, so I'm supposed to ride this instead of taking a plane.
Right. So, I mean, if you were taking a flight that was 300 kilometers, they're currently a real hassle. So you need to take a taxi or an Uber to the airport and then another one to get to your destination. You need to put all your stuff in a suitcase. So usually, driving that distance to a meeting is
out of the question. And then usually I can't sleep on flights. So
Right. So basically the idea is that you would call this car at like 2 a.m. You'd jump in and sleep the rest of the night.
No, just a question here. She's sleeping like, what is that bed sheet thing going on there?
Basically, this is like securing you as a passenger, kind of like you would with a 3-point seatbelt. So the blanket is not just for comfy comfort. It's so that
it holds you in place.
Right.
Like going around a corner or a bump or something.
Right. And presumably in an accident, I guess you would be okay. Not that there would hopefully be an accident because it's a robot car.
This is really cool. I just want to point out that Volvo is owned by Geely, which is a Chinese company, and that they are full into autonomous.
Right.
I also want to thank the writers in our newsroom who helped put the story together, especially Ruben. So we see this a lot, Jesse. We see this, and I never understood what was going on here, but this is natural gas being burnt off at an oil rig.
So there's $1 million worth of natural gas that goes up in smoke every day. This is not by accident. It's not like someone dropped something and it exploded. This is the stuff.
Intentional?
This is all intentional. $1 million of natural gas.
Whoa. Why? They're drilling for it.
Basically, in the Permian Basin of Texas and New Mexico, oil drillers have no way to move the natural gas, which is a byproduct of the oil drilling, because basically there aren't enough gas pipelines. So instead, they just light it on fire.
And that's called flaring?
That's called flaring.
But no one must be for this. Like that seems like a horrible idea. Because I mean, there's consequences for burning it, right?
Oh yeah, it releases a boatload of CO2.
It's the equivalent of driving 2 million cars.
Right, and this is about 3% of the gas that they extract in that basin.
Wait, so you're telling me they just give up 3% of their profits just by burning it?
That's large enough to supply the daily needs of states like Montana or New Hampshire.
What?
Just burn it.
Why don't they just find a solution to this?
There's nothing for us to do, says Ryan Stilton, a member of the Texas Railroad Commission, which regulates oil and gas operations. If gas becomes a waste product, people will flare it. So
wait a minute. He's on the commission that decides whether they can flare it?
He regulates whether they can flare it.
So good. It's regulated. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. And the Wall Street Journal reviewed the data on more than 20,000 permit requests that companies submitted to the Texas Railroad Commission to flare over the past 5 years.
Okay.
None of them were denied.
Wait, what?
0 of all the permits, of 20,000 permits to flare, none of them were denied.
Why do we have a commission then?
I don't know. I guess maybe it would be someone's birthday and that might... I don't know. I don't know. If you're not going to... If it's not going to, like, maybe certain days of the week or something, maybe if smog were particularly bad that day, or your CO2 emissions were exceeding some kind of, I don't know, national standard that you wouldn't want to go over for fear of international backlash. I don't know. I'm just saying,
This is one of these stories.
maybe on the bright side, it would be worse if they were to just release the gas on its own, right? Methane is a worse greenhouse gas than the CO2 when you burn it.
True.
But, of course, that ignores all of the leaks that happen due to pipelines anyway. So, I don't know. It's just so stupid. I think that really the only answer is that we need to buck up, go to solar, go to wind, go to EVs, get rid of this mind-bogglingly stupid experiment that we're running, as Elon says, on the atmosphere and the oceans. So let's stop dumping CO2 into it. If that weren't bad enough, there's a new study that equates air pollution to a huge reduction in intelligence. So basically this happens no matter what your age. If you're exposed to poor air, you are going to be a less intelligent person.
Let's just move on to another story. It's too much negative. I
Okay.
can't. Can you give me some concrete reasons why we shouldn't be doing CO2 so that people out there can contact their legislators and be, instead of just hanging their heads in depression, are there some numbers you can give me?
So the Global Commission on the Economy and Climate just came out with a study that basically said that has a set of policies on curbing CO2 emissions that you could save $26 trillion through 2030.
Okay, but this must be a bunch of liberals on this committee.
This committee is composed of 28 former heads of state, big city mayors, CEOs, and directors of international institutions like the World Bank.
Oh, wow. So probably know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So wait, you're telling me that curbing CO2 emissions would save us $26 trillion by 2030?
Yeah. $26 trillion is an unfathomable amount of money. $1 trillion is more than you can possibly imagine or spend in your lifetime. $26 trillion could be humongous.
Wow. I just want to point out that in July, the U.S. House of Representatives, our smart body of legislators, they came out with a resolution. It doesn't mean it's a law or anything. It's just a resolution about how they feel. And the resolution said it expresses the sense of Congress that a carbon tax would be detrimental to the U.S. economy. So do you have anything that could, counter that argument? Because, these are the best and brightest that we've got there in Washington.
Okay, so in British Columbia, they imposed an annual tax of $8 for every ton of CO2 in 2008. And that rose to $24 a ton in 2012. British Columbia, as a province, their economy has grown faster than the national average.
Wait, they increased the taxes on carbon and it went up?
Their economy went up because it came from basically clean energy business that sprang up to meet the increased demand.
And their air got cleaner?
And their air got cleaner, which means that the people in there got smarter. So, it's
so we do have good arguments.
Yes, obviously we have good arguments.
Wow.
We're not just...
And we have we have data to prove it.
Yes, you impose a carbon tax in British Columbia, their economy gets better. The same thing happened in California. They were able to increase their GDP while also reducing carbon emissions.
There you go, people.
It works. I mean, you need to create this new business, so that all drives progress.
All these arguments you hear against it is because we haven't had data against before. We haven't had data to show that it works. So now you can contact your legislators and you can say here, I'm citing these articles. It works.
Right. And lastly, there are more jobs in the solar industry than there are any other energy industry combined.
So coal, oil, and gas?
Even if you count wind, too. Solar takes the cake for the most number of jobs.
Yeah, 373,000 jobs in the U.S. in solar. So tell that to your representative.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about U.S. EV sales in August, which is another bit of bright news here. 36,363 U.S. EV sales in August versus 16,514 last August. That is a 54% increase over last year.
That's more than double.
You know math.
Why?
Yeah.
If I may ponder, do you think that is the case?
Because they're awesome. They rock.
But why?
It's because of the Nissan Leaf, and it's because of the Bolt, and it's because of the Ioniq. I mean, there's so many EVs. That's why.
It's almost like there was a new one or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the I-Pace you're talking about. Yep. That's going to come on sale soon.
It's like there's one that has swept up the charts to the number one spot that we've like.
Haven't heard anything.
Is the 2?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Model 3.
Yes. There you go. I mean, it's just like it's doubled the EV sales.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it.
I know.
It's truly those sales, right?
Yep.
Am I crazy?
Nope, you're not crazy.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the cause.
That's what did it.
If you have a good EV, if you don't have a Leaf, I have a Leaf, okay? I have a Leaf. Trust me when I say that it does not cover every scenario, every situation. It is because I care so much about this topic, and it's because I have access to a Model 3 if I really need one. But it's like...
It's probably kept you from getting yours.
What?
If you didn't have access to the Model 3 in the driveway there.
Oh, it's true.
I think you would have bought yours
I
sooner.
would have gone
have
gone into even more debt.
Comment below if we should keep Jesse out of the Model 3. Last Friday, Elon sent a letter out to Tesla employees. He put it on the website so you can read it. And I'm just going to take some pieces here. He says, it's easy to forget that our company was almost unknown 10 years ago and didn't even exist until after the start of the 21st century. We are about to have the most amazing quarter in our history, building and delivering more than twice as many cars as we did last quarter. For a while, there will be a lot of fuss and noise in the media. Just ignore them. Results are what matter, and we are creating the most mind-blowing growth in the history of the automotive industry. Even the Ford Model T, which held the world record for the fastest-growing car in history, didn't grow as fast in sales or production as the Model 3. Moreover, we have the most exciting new product lineup of any company in the world. There is the Model Y, the Tesla pickup truck, the Semi, and the new Roadster. Then there is the solar roof, which is spooling up in production, and continued advancements in Powerwall and Powerpack. And that's just what people know about. Jerome Guillen has been promoted to President Automotive, reporting directly to me. In his new role, Jerome will oversee all automotive operations and program management, as well as coordinate our extensive automotive supply chain. Now, this is awesome news. We've been dying for Elon to have a COO. This is the closest we're probably going to hear of that. Basically, Jerome is doing the job of a COO.
Yep.
So, yay. Secondly, Elon says that they have the most exciting new lineup, and that's just what people know about.
Right.
This should be headline news. Like
It is the most exciting.
And
he's going to break into the compact SUV market, which is huge.
Yep.
He's going to break into the U.S. truck market, which is huge. He's going to break into the
semi-truck.
the semi-truck market,
And-
humongous,
and the $1 million
the supercar
hypercar market.
He's going to undercut every other supercar manufacturer, basically.
Yeah.
Make something that's going to smoke them.
And then the solar roof, the Powerwall, the Powerpack. But then he says that's just what they know about. That means there's more. And he's telling us that he's beaten the Ford Model T record for the fastest growing car.
Which is insane. It's insane.
Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi predicts Uber will offer more rides on electric bikes and scooters than cars in the near future. And, quote, we want to be the Amazon of transportation, and hopefully 10 years from now, no one in the audience is going to own a car.
You should watch our autonomous driving future, because that's something that we said in our autonomous driving future. And now the CEO of Uber...
Oh, do you think you got
just
the
said
idea
that-
from us?
No, but it's pretty clear that that's probably what's going to happen.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Uber invested $335 million in electric scooter company Lime earlier this year, so now you can rent a Lime scooter using your Uber app, and Uber invested $100 million in e-bike company Jump.
I'm happy with this move by Uber. I'm not usually happy by things that they do, but I think that that's a good move.
Yeah.
Move to electric transportation. It's not like they're buying... gas-powered scooters or whatever like that.
Yeah. Hey, what's this? It looks really familiar, Jesse.
That is a white Tesla Next Generation Roadster that was unveiled at the Grand Basel Auto Show in Switzerland last week, which, let me just say, describes itself as the ultimate show for automotive masterpieces. Again, I just want to remind the ridiculous stats. 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. This is the base model. 620 miles of range, a $200,000 base price, $250,000 for Founders Series. There's the SpaceX option package, which, again, we have no idea how insane the stats are going to be on that ride.
And, I mean, if you use our referral code for the S, the X, or the Model 3 Performance by September 16th, so that's about a week away, you will get a ride in this baby.
I'm just saying this is the only offer you're ever going to hear of getting a ride in this thing, and you should probably take it. We're going to come drive to your house. If you live in southern Canada or the United States or Europe, we'll come drive to your house in this ridiculous thing and take you for a ride.
You think it'll be a white one?
I don't know what color we should get. Honestly,
I still like the red, but
I think the red looks really good, but the white does look like a spaceship.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the lightning round. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're interested in checking out EVs, the National Drive Electric Week events have started. So there's a few days left. There's events all over the country in Southern Canada. So go to this website, check it out. It is sponsored by Plug-in America, Sierra Club, and the Electric Auto Association.
Right. So if you don't have any EVs in your life, this is a chance for you to get behind the wheel of one. And if you drive an electric car,
bring it there.
Bring it there. Please take people for test drives. Please take people for test drives. It sells the things. I'm telling you.
It changes the world.
It changes people's minds when it switches. There's a little switch in everyone's brain. Mm-hmm. As soon as you feel the acceleration of an electric car, it just switches.
So Moody's has downgraded.
Oh, no.
No, this is... Did you think I was going to say something else?
I thought you were going to say Tesla.
Oh, no. Ford.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Moody's has downgraded Ford's bonds last week to Baa3, which is one notch above junk rating.
Whoa.
Yeah, analyst Adam Jonas says, we estimate that Ford's $11 billion restructuring may be designed to shrink the revenue footprint by 20 to 30%, targeting roughly 25K in headcount reductions.
That's 25,000 jobs lost.
It sounds better if you say it as headcount reduction.
Don't
They're going to have to fire 200.
No, don't say fired. That sounds really bad. Just call it headcount reduction. That sounds better.
They're going to have to shrink the revenue footprint by 20 to 30%.
Yeah, that sounds better, doesn't it? Revenue footprint reduction. It doesn't sound like you're actually lowering how much money you make.
Ford is trading at less than $10 a share, and it's down 25% this year. So didn't we predict that Ford was going to be in trouble?
They're in trouble.
Yeah, they're in trouble. So European EV sales are booming. So far this year, car sales have been down 4% in the UK overall. But in August, 7,489 electric and alternative fuel vehicles were sold. That's 8% of the entire car sales for the month.
Wow.
And that's up from 3,968 in August of 2017. That's a 52% increase year over year.
And I want to point out, Europe as a whole, EV sales are up 40% in the first half of the year, and there are now more than 1 million EVs on the road. Mm-hmm. Again, China already hit this number, but the really key thing here is that Model 3 is not being sold in Europe.
That's right. This is all without the Model 3 sales numbers.
And there are people in Europe waiting for a Model 3.
Oh, yeah. I hear from them every day.
So what I'm saying is that in a couple of years, when the Model 3 starts selling in Europe, which could happen sooner, we have no idea, it's going to explode. Those numbers are going to explode. That's going to have to make headlines. That's going to have to change people's minds.
That's right.
I mean, already you have 1 million people driving in EVs in Europe.
Yep.
It's contagious.
Now, speaking of Model 3, there's a Model 3 thief.
Oh, no.
So a Model 3 rental was stolen by a 21-year-old who had previously rented from the Minnesota-based Tesla rental company Trevel's. He was able to get the Model 3 to believe his phone was the authorized key, explained by Mark Lanterman, a computer forensics specialist, who said, what it sounds like this person may have done is convince Tesla to take the VIN number of that vehicle and add it to his Tesla account. You can do this with a phone call. By doing that, you can now control the Tesla from an app on your phone. Trevel's owner, John Marino, was able to track the supercharging of the Model 3, told the local authorities, and 2 days later, the thief was caught, even though he had shut off GPS. He was caught near Waco, Texas. Now, that brings the record for Tesla's recovered to
112 out of 115.
That's a good record.
That is insanely good.
Surprise, surprise, Jesse.
What?
Automakers are not spending equally on advertising their EV models versus their gas-guzzling models.
Okay,
so
we're looking at Nissan here.
Yep, they've got the Rogue, right?
They've spent $100 million on the Rogue versus $1 million on the Leaf.
How about Ford?
$1 million. Ford, the F-150, they spent $210 million, and they spent $10 million on the Fusion.
And the C-Max.
Toyota, RAV4, spent $130 million. Prius Prime, $5 million. The GM Silverado, $130 million. The Bolt, $16 million. And the Volt, $0. The Volt sells, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it sells and they don't advertise it. Right. Again, it shows that you do not need to advertise electric cars because they sell themselves.
Exactly. Now check this out, Jesse. This is electrified Berlin. So this is a video from July of all these electric vehicles parading down the street in Berlin. I'm just going to shut up so you can listen for a second.
Okay. It's kind of loud right now.
Those are just the beeping of the scooters. Let's wait till they go past.
Okay.
So now we're getting to the part where it's just, oh my God. You can hear birds chirping. You can hear people talking. There's cars driving by. This would be what it would be like if it was a city that was electric.
Right. And now, can you hear that? That's a police motorcycle driving past. Loud. I know that if you're watching, you might be part of like an EV community, right? An EV group. What I want you to do.
Oh, I get it.
Organize your own parade. You know, you don't need a license to have a parade if you're just driving, right? Just get a bunch of people. You all meet up. All get in a line, drive around, go past, the places where there's outdoor seating.
Ooh, I like that.
The shops and stuff like that. Just so everyone will suddenly notice that it's gotten extremely quiet. They'll look around.
And
they'll
put some
see
signs on your car that say, like, this is an electric vehicle parade.
Right. Then they start looking around going like, oh my God, I can talk. I can hear myself think.
And
the air smells better.
Yeah.
I can hear the birds. They look around. They just see this long line of EV cars. I don't know. It's an idea.
I like
Think
that
about
idea.
it.
I like it a lot. So Nissan's selling this, what looks kind of like, if you look at the guts of it, as a Leaf, but they're selling it in China. It's called the Sylphy.
Right. It looks just like an Ultima. Like if you took the front half of a Leaf and an Ultima body and you smushed them together and then you sold it in China. Why don't they sell it anywhere else? I don't know.
Yeah, you had a really good point, which was why don't they have this kind of looking car in the US or Europe?
Why is the only electric car you can buy from Nissan the Leaf? Why not have a sedan version? Right. I mean, I know that the hatchback is so much more bigger market, but who cares? I mean, people still drive sedans.
It's the same guts.
Right.
So remember, Jesse, there was that product that you could put a magnet, you could put on the steering wheel of a Tesla, and then your autopilot would think that you were holding the wheel.
Right. It was the Tesla Buddy or something.
Yeah, and
like
the Department of Transportation said, no, that you can't do that.
Right.
So they're back. They're marketing it as a steering wheel mount to hold your phone, and the manufacturer says in their literature, don't use it while the car's in motion.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How is this in any way safe?
It's not safe. Now, come on, people. Don't use this. We're at level 2 for a reason. These cars have to be, this is an assistance to the driver.
Right.
I just drove to Chicago with my father. Day 1, he was gripping the wheel so firmly that he kept taking it out of AP because he was just like, I don't trust it. Day 3, different story. He was relaxing. He was enjoying the drive. He was actually, like, we would, on day 1, he would drive for his, 2-hour leg and get out tired. On day 3, he'd get out from the 2-hour leg and be like, can I drive again? Because once you get used to the AP, even though your hand's on the wheel, it's still so much better than without it.
Right.
But don't do this kind of game thing where you...
It's not the way that it's supposed to work. No. You're supposed to be attentive because the road is a hectic and ridiculous place, and this is still Autopilot 2.0.
Right. And you know what my dad said when he had to get back in his Toyota RAV4? He said, why doesn't this thing take care of the distance between the car in front of me?
Right.
Like, he had to relearn how to drive a nice car.
Yep.
So California's assembly has passed a bill that will require there to be 100% renewables by 2045.
Right. So all electricity generation in the state has to be by renewable resources. So it's passed the assembly. Now it has to go to the Senate, the state Senate. So if you live in California, tell your senator that you want this passed.
And there's another initiative in Colorado. This is Initiative 97, which is qualified for the Colorado ballot. And it would take 4 out of every 5 acres of non-federal land in Colorado off the table for new oil and gas drilling. The initiative widens the distance between the wells and the occupied buildings and water sources from 500 feet for homes and 1,000 feet for schools, that's what it is now, to 2,500 feet. So that is a ring around each building, and you have to stay out of that ring to do any drilling.
Right. This is mostly just for safety. There was a house explosion last year that killed 2 people in Firestone, and the explosion was from a leaky natural gas line that wasn't properly capped. Right. So this is why they're doing it. I think that it's great, and it's also taking oil and gas off the table. Good.
Yeah. So vote for Initiative 97.
And lastly, there's a petition against logging in America's largest national forest in Alaska, which is the Tongass Forest.
How big can it possibly be?
It is bigger than West Virginia. So this forest is huge.
Wow.
It is a beautiful forest. And
Wow.
yet the American government wants to say, you can start logging that stuff all you want.
Wow.
Not cool.
Link down below. Tell them how you feel.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. And I want to give a plug this week to our Tesla Time newsroom that helps us so much every week, this week especially, with all the news. So this week we've got Peter with his Model X dog crate.
Hello and welcome. Just a very quick video talking about dog crates for the Tesla Model X. We've only had the car a few days, and one of the first things we wanted to do was work out how to safely transport our dog. Making the most of the boot space in the 5-seater that we've configured. Long search through the internet, and we ended up at a store in England called Pets at Home. We tried several dog crates in and out of the vehicle, much to the amusement of the staff, and we eventually chose this little box. This is not a paid endorsement, but it's the Kong at Home Ultra Strong double door crate. Measurements, as you can see, fairly good size. This is down as the medium crate, and when we lifted the rear parcel shelf, kind of false floor, out of the Model X, this is what we ended up with. We ended up with the crate sat very nicely in the boot, or trunk as they call it in America. If I just take this out, which we use to stop the dog scratching as he gets in and out, you see there's quite a lot of space around the crate, and you've still got access to the underfloor deep area for keeping any knickknacks down there. Interestingly, the crate fitted behind this lip, so there's a bit of a recess there, as you can see, but it's actually, without any securing, very, very solidly in the space. The crate allows you to lift up a bar and slide the gate down. There's a little retainer here just to stop it going up and down when you don't want it to. And when it's in the down position, that's quite secure. Did have a few rattles. We've put a little elastic band on the side door there, which has eliminated the rattle. And as I say, working very well for us. That is the dog crate in the Model X. Thanks for watching.
Really neat. So, I mean, obviously you need to have the 5-seater Model X, but I mean, that's somewhat common.
Yeah.
And you can fit a big dog crate in there.
That's great.
And it fits really nicely.
That's really
You got to
nice.
use that one, though.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
All right, time for our Patreon bonus stories. So we're going to go over there and do that now. If you'd like to watch them, it's a little as $1 a month. You can help the show and get all these cool stories, because there's a lot of them this week.
Yep.
All right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories, and that was a long one, and you're missing out on some cool stories if you don't go there now to Patreon and help us out with $1 a month. Just do it, folks. You're going to enjoy it. Let's give some shout-outs. Jesse.
Yes. All right. William Hughes III,
Mike Smith,
Gunter Kopelberg,
Myron Tan,
Matt Crowley,
Steve Mann,
Static Apnea.
and Zachary Henderson.
Thank you
guys
so much for supporting this channel.
They're the best, aren't they?
Couldn't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweet of the week. We got 2 this week. One is this one. Check this little video out.
Is this in GTA? They put a Boring Company into...
Well, I see why you think that, because
computer
there's a
game?
video game controller, but Elon's saying test driving our new boring machine with a video game controller. What this is, basically, this machine is sitting outside the Boring Company's headquarters in Hawthorne, California, and this video is showing how the tunnel sections can now be placed robotically without the need for a worker to be controlling it inside the machine. So think about if your job was to be inside this machine underground, putting panels up. Now it's done by a robot.
Sweet.
Using a controller. And then Elon tweeted this out, looks cool, which is in regards to Ocean Cleanup, which is a company that has devised this really cool system of collecting trash out in the Pacific Ocean and recycling the plastic. So if you click on this link here, you will go to see a live map of where the Ocean Cleanup is taking place. And you can track it and follow it. And I urge you to support Ocean Cleanup. It's an amazing company. We were reaching out to the CEO to get an interview. So when they're done with all this work, hopefully they'll have time for us. All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community Mail Time.
Got a lot of cool ones here. This is Paul's new Model 3. Our friend Paul from Sacramento picked up his new blue Model 3 in Fremont. and he had a VIN of 96,000, Jesse.
Wow.
So all these people are like, they're not making a lot of cars. Well, that kind of tells you.
96,000. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's an insane number.
Now, Paul also owns a Chevy Bolt, and he says, quote, "The Chevy Bolt is a good prep, but there's really no comparison to the Model 3.
Wow.
Our friend Michael in Burbank sent us this. This is a video of rows and rows of Teslas in Burbank. So thank you, Michael, for taking that video. That just shows you all the cars that are waiting for owners. And then our friend Dale in Melbourne, Australia, he currently drives a 1965 Ford Falcon. I'm a little jealous. That's a cool car. Only if it was converted to electric.
Yeah, okay.
And then he went and visited the Chadstone Shopping Center Tesla showroom, and he checked out the Model 3. And his girlfriend said that she had no idea what the car was before, but afterwards was sold that our next car has to be a Tesla. Check out this video from our friend Sean in Arizona.
Hey, this is Sean. I'm here at the Wickenburg Supercharger again. And this is how you know you're at a Supercharger in Arizona.
Not for long. That license plate's going to be
No gas girl.
rusty thing hung up on some pub somewhere.
Would you like to go for an electric boat ride in France, Jesse?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay.
This is from our friend Francois, and we're now in Cassis in France on an electric boat.
Wow. That's fun.
Here's a story that's probably going to make me cry. I'm going to try not to. I've already cried once today over this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to summarize. This is a letter from a viewer of ours, Nathan, and he's an actor out in California. He's just finished at the conservatory, and you know, most actors work as, you know, in restaurants and Uber and Lyft drivers. But he's like, you know what? I'm graduated now. I need a serious job. Why not apply to Tesla? So after watching our videos for a long time, he went in, got an interview. And after the first interview, they were so impressed with him. They're like, we have rarely seen someone with so much knowledge about Tesla.
Right.
You
Outside of as an actor.
Right. Like,
trained as an actor.
I mean, he seemed to know so much stuff. He's like, that he got the job. So he is now getting to talk to people about what he loves at the Glendale showroom. So go say hello to our friend Nathan if you're in the area. And Nathan, thank you so much. You really just kind of boosted our spirits and made our day.
Yeah. Really needed it this week. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
All right, it's time for our Patreon viewer comments. And you ran a poll last week while I was
Yes.
gone. You said, have you seen a Model 3? And quite interesting results here. We're seeing that 90 people said, I haven't seen one with my own eyes yet. 68 people said, I saw one on the road or in a parking lot. That's a lot. 40 said, I got to sit in one, but that's it. 19 said, I got to go for a little ride. 28 said, I got to go for a test drive. And 41 said, I own one.
Wow.
That's a lot higher than I thought.
It was, yeah. I mean, clearly these are our Patreons. These people have probably waited a really long time for this thing. You guys better be doing test rides.
Yes.
Because, I mean,
That's how we
need
change
to get
minds.
that number up.
Yes. All right, time for Supercharger reviews.
We are at the Tesla Supercharger in Ellensburg. There are, I believe, 5 stalls. Yeah, 5 stalls in front of the Holiday Inn Express. There's also a Red Line Hotel. And there's a Starbucks behind me, as well as a Taco Del Mar. And there are a few gas stations within walking distance. I'd give it about 6 or so. There's not a lot of food options. Not a lot of space here either.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. This is GK from the driver's seat, and I am here in the newest location for Superchargers in Houston. It is on the right off of the 293, I think it is. There is a Rudy's right there behind me in that red building. There were 8 stalls here. It was open on August 18th of this year. It looks like it's getting pretty popular. The next time you come down through Houston area, stop by and see me. I'm easy to find. Everybody seems to know my plates. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time and keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm at the Danbury Supercharger in Connecticut. This is a 10 stall. And we're at the Danbury Mall, and we just went in there. There's a Starbucks and a food court, and there's all sorts of stores like LL Bean, Cheesecake Factory, a Brio, a Lord & Taylor, all that kind of stuff. It's not a very long walk, as you can see, just across the parking lot there. The only thing I don't like about the Supercharger is that it's quite a drive off of the highway. It took about 4 or 5 minutes off the highway, so I'm going to tick off some marks for that. So I'm going to say it's 8 out of 10. All right, we're at the Breezewood, Pennsylvania Supercharger. This is an 8 stall, and look what I saw here, a Model 3. And yes, we're out of sheets. The only thing I don't like about this one, because there is a Holiday Inn Express over there. Yeah, there's a cool looking diner across the street. There's a McDonald's, there's a Days Inn, there's a Hardee's, and there's a Sheets. The only thing I don't like is that it took about, I don't know, 7 minutes off the highway. So I'm gonna knock that down 3 and give it a 7 out of 10.
Man, every week we have
Every
Supercharger
week.
reviews. I'm so glad to see them. When I get my Model 3, I'm gonna have to Skype into the show. You're never gonna see me.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my dream case, throw it in the back,
And you're gone.
I'm gone.
All right.
And I'm gonna go to all these Superchargers.
So should I start
and I'm gonna
advertising for a co-host? Is that?
We'll Skype me in. I'll get one of those robots so you can roll in.
Hello, I am Jesse.
Well, no, it's a screen and it's.
I see.
It's
right.
Like, yeah,
With the
we'll
iPad,
just-
I've seen
we'll
those.
pretend- Yeah.
Okay. Not as good as having you here, though. All right, it's time for new Superchargers. We've only got 2 this week. What do we got?
We got the 8 stall in Nantong, Yongwang Mall, China.
And we got number 228 in China, number 1358 in the world. It's the 10 stall in Guangzhou, which is the Crown Plaza Hotel in China. Now, do you know that 17% of all the Superchargers in the world are in China?
Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
BFREE, you know about this. This is benefits for rewarding Elon employees. Well, my friend Pratik is offering at the Town Place Suites in Schaumburg, Illinois, and the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Schaumburg, 15% off with this promo code to any Elon employee. Wow. And I thought, you know what? Just like before with that electric sailboat, I should check this out. Make sure it's legit.
Yeah.
So that's me on the roof of
You
the
actually
hotel.
got to go?
I had to make sure that he actually had solar panels on the roof. So when
That's
you stay
awesome.
there, you're going to get this discount, but you're also getting a solar powered night.
That's insane.
How cool is that? So I did a
great.
whole episode on it. It's already out. You can go check it out right here. Pratik's awesome. He owns a bunch of hotels, and you should stay at them. They're fantastic. This is perfect for Boring Company employees who are going to Chicago anyway to work on the the tunnel there, because these are right near the airport.
Right.
So
He's
perfect.
got chargers there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a company and you would like to be on the BFREE website, it's really easy. Just go to this link and you'll be on the BFREE website. You put in your information, and then all Elon employees can check it out. Now, if you're an Elon employee, please contact us and let us know if you've used any of these services. I would love to know about them. All right, so what do we got for a past video, Jess?
So this one's not that old, but basically you interviewed a guy who is traveling to the South Pole using only solar energy.
That's not possible.
You just interviewed with him.
That couldn't be true. It must be a hallucination. How could you go to the South Pole?
You're going to have to find out. It's crazy. And the vehicle, the solar-powered vehicle, is 100% post-consumer waste recycled plastic.
Nah, you're just making things up. That can't
I
be true.
mean, if you thought that things like that were impossible, you're going to have to listen to this guy talk, because it's inspiring.
It's the Patreon giveaway.
Let's get the big... Oh, Jesus.
All right, Jesse, what do we got
Okay,
here?
here we go.
First of all, how do you get in this bin of funness?
Well, if you support us on Patreon, every dollar that you support us turns into a chance to win.
And what do you win?
This week, you are going to be winning Skytropolis, which is a computer game that you can
Oh, that's the one where you build a 3D reality with the...
You can do virtual reality.
Yeah.
You can do it on your computer. You're also going to be winning an Elon Musk air freshener.
That's so
from
cool.
Evanex.
Nice.
All right, so let's see.
All right, who do we got here?
We've got
Reach deep in there.
deeply Johan Einvik.
All right, congratulations. You have just won Skytropolis and
And
Elon's Musk.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching this show. We really hope that you enjoy it. If you want, you can support us on Patreon. The names that you're seeing here are people who support us for over $5 or more a month. And you really make this show possible. You make it possible for us to go to different places, to interview people that normally you wouldn't get to hear from. If you can't support us on Patreon, you know that your budget just doesn't allow for that kind of commitment. You can head over to Amazon. Whenever you're buying Amazon stuff, use our Amazon affiliate link, which is down below. We have a new worldwide link, so if you're from not the USA, you can use that. Everything you buy on Amazon, a small percentage of it will go to us instead of going to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything.
And if you like to listen on podcasts, we are on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn.
Yeah, I didn't know that we were on Spotify.
Yeah,
I
we're on
just
Spotify.
didn't know that
I've been
we were on
saying it
Spotify.
for weeks.
We're on Spotify. You
Yeah,
can
it's
listen to us on Spotify.
really
So,
cool.
I mean, if you don't have a Tesla like me and you can't listen on TuneIn, you can at least download it onto Spotify if you have Spotify Premium, and you can watch it, listen to it there. I just want to thank everyone who's watching this video. You're part of this community. You're making it possible. We're growing.
I love hearing from you. Jesse
Yeah.
does too. Like, send us your ideas, your stories, things you've heard, like whatever. Like, we love that. This is the community we wanted
Right.
to create, and we now have it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And if you want to be a part of our newsroom, because we've got amazing folks over in the newsroom who help find stories, research stories. Today I was like, help me write this story, and they did.
Yeah,
like
it's really
really helpful.
Big shout out to everyone who does Supercharger reviews, who does community mail time, BFREE.
Yep.
It's fantastic, so wonderful. You guys are awesome. Such a positive influence in the world. I drive a Leaf, and it's just a drop in the bucket, right? Just one person doing the right thing. But everyone can throw their drop in the bucket, and it
adds up.
It adds up quick.
Yeah.
And 66,000 people all dropping their drop in the bucket adds up pretty quick. 66,000 drops, that's huge.
Yeah.
And you have an effect on the people around you. Don't think that just because we have a YouTube channel we're somehow above you. You can really have an impact on the people around you. Have that conversation with someone. I know it's not always going to be fun. I know that they're not always going to listen to you, but sometimes you can really change their mind.
Or you're one step towards making them change your mind.
Exactly.
You were step number 6, and then number 7 put them over the edge.
Because at some point, it's going to happen. They're going to say, "Oh my gosh, you know what? Dave was right. Jeff was right."
It's happened throughout history.
Yep.
It keeps happening. Humans need that. So you are doing it. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And now you know.